What up, everybody? You're now tuned into Candid Conversations. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream. I got my brother back in here with me today, Mr. Trey Ford. How you feeling today?
Today is a good day. I love Mondays. Mondays has been good to
Oh
me.
yeah. Oh yeah. Mondays are good. Mondays are good. I used to be like Garfield. Garfield hate Mondays, man. But hey, after a good weekend, Monday's always good. Monday's
Always
always
good.
good.
Always good. We've been having good nap weather.
Oh man, let me tell you about this. Tell you about this weather, man. Shoot, I'm praying for the people in Haiti right now, man. They going through that
That's real.
earthquake, and then they getting hit with the storms on top of the earthquakes, man. It's
Absolutely.
man,
Just
it
to
makes me
that point.
thankful.
Just to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, if you guys are watching this, check out Pascal Bellany. She is representing Haiti in Miss Supranational over in Poland, which is a pageant. But she's going to work on mobilizing a team to help with healthcare. She's actually her profession is a nurse. I went to school with her, and my company, Gainesville Black Wall Street, with Aaron Day, we helped her do some of her marketing and PR for Miss Haiti when she was going for Miss Haiti, and she got second runner up. So definitely download the Miss Supranational app and let's support Haiti in as many ways as possible. And Pascal
Yeah,
has a platform, so if we can help her with her platform, we can help get resources there. And there's a large Haitian community in Florida in general, in Jacksonville, definitely in South Florida. So one time for our African diaspora people.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it makes me thankful, man, because any problems that you have as a Black American pales in comparison to what's going on right now over there.
That's right.
You think about it, it whatever it is, man, it's not as bad as that. I
Right.
mean, you
Right.
got they weren't over the first tremor that they had about 11 years ago. They said they were still not fully over that. Then you had the hurricane from a few years ago that came through, and now you got another tremor and the storms coming now, man. So it's rough, man. It's really rough. But so praying for Haiti, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I seen our girl Naomi Osaka. She said she's donating all of her prize money to the Haiti
Right.
relief efforts. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her for claiming that heritage too, because they were really trying to make her like Japanese only.
Yeah.
And she claimed her pop. She claimed her daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's both in. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to her.
Yeah, kudos to her, man. Kudos to her. So, man, let's start. We're gonna start out with this State of Unity address between Black men and Black women. I mean,
That's
the
where it's gonna
community
start.
right now, yeah, the community right now. To me, honestly, the community is in shambles right now. We're basically we're listing alone in a unrepairable boat right now. Yeah, that's what we're doing, man. Because with uh the men and women in the community don't see eye to eye anymore. There's no coming together. Our marriage rates are in the toilets. Birth rates are down. I know we're 13% of the population. We haven't grown in like 20 years. Like our population hasn't grown in like 20 years, and that's a problem. And actually, we're starting to dwindle because birth rates around the world are falling, not only just here in America, but around the world. So the population is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And if you think it's bad between grown Black men and women, dude, I've seen the videos of young Black girls and young Black boys and pretty much how it is. And the young Black girls and their attitudes about what the boys should be. And the boys are like, yeah, I'll go play some video games and chill. I ain't got to put up with this. And some of them are even
As
dating
above,
out.
so below. Usually that's used a little bit differently, but the things
Yeah.
that are going on with adult men and women, it's trickling down. It's trickling
Yeah.
down. So that's big time. Now I haven't really had a chance to observe the younger people. So it's that you're making me privy to that. I have two daughters. Only one of them, probably the 7-year-old, is maybe getting closer to that range where that might be, might be in the stratosphere for her. But she's still pretty
Yeah.
sheltered. She lives down with her mom, so they got that on lock for the most part. But I try to get I get my daddy wisdom in there as often as possible. But yeah, to use your example, paddling in a boat with holes in it. It's almost like that boat, is headed towards shore. The shore being safety, security, unity, financial stability, those things. So, but it has holes in it, right? And the paddlers are fighting against each other instead of paddling. So the boat is sinking, and the shore is not getting much closer.
Yeah, no, and man, that's a great example of what's going on. But yeah, man, a lot of people don't know, especially older black people, because younger generation, you kind of like they doing their own thing, so you're not really paying attention unless you have kids and you're actively involved in their lives. I mean, you don't know. I mean, I'm watching it now, man. The young guys, period, from I say between the ages of say 15 to about 23, the girls are running laps around them right now, especially when it comes to dating, because they can reach to older guys, more successful guys, more established guys. And as we know, women are born with their value, men have to build their value. So you got young men who want to date, they want women, but they have no value right now. They have to build it, and nobody wants to be patient enough to build. I say this all the time. People want Sunday dinner results with hot pocket instructions. That's what they want. You can't get that today.
I feel like what lends to that too is TMI or television. And what I mean specifically with television, not necessarily the TV, but it's YouTube, it's music videos, it's media, it's propaganda.
Social media.
And yeah, so it's there's all of this information going into our brains that on a subconscious level, even if on a conscious level, you may not be acknowledging it, or you may not be putting your personal focus into it. It's going in. If you think about all of the songs that have come out over the last, let's say 3 to 5 years worth of discography written by men and women, it's like putting us into a trance. It's informing us on a subconscious level on how we should react. And if individual people are not doing the things to counteract that, then now you're lost in the matrix, and the matrix is designed, the culture is designed for control. It's for energy neutralness, just enough. Not, case in point, you're talking about how the world population seems to be dwindling or whatnot. That's a control. That's control. The energy rich things continue to grow and become more and more abundant. And so that's the messaging, the consistent messaging. And we can. Well, I don't want to go that deep down the rabbit hole as far as who's controlling the messaging, but the messaging is intentional. There's intentional messaging going on. So we have to be cognizant of that, and the ability to define gives us the ability to fulfill. So we have to define it and put a light on it. We have to put a light on it, put attention on it in order for it to. And I feel like some of the people who put the light on it get scrutinized because maybe they do it with a little bit less tact, like your Kevin Samuels on one end, or I don't know what the prominent female dating coaches, like I don't know their names. I don't know if you know their name, but those people a lot of times get crucified because it's against the status quo. And they do some stuff for shock and awe. So I'm not one of Kevin Samuels' disciples, y'all. So don't crucify me next. I'm just saying that that lane of trying to expose what the dating realm is right now in an honest, and concise, and candid way, candid conversations on it. People don't want to hear that. They want to hear the love story, the 15-track album, and then they want to hear Can't Trust No Nigga No, online, you know what I mean? Like all these songs, they're informing us, and we sing them with such passion, and now you're confessing exactly what the song is saying.
Yeah. So the sweet lies. Yeah, sweet lies, man. Everybody wants to hear those sweet lies. Everybody wants to hear.
And it's guys and girls, so don't know, like ladies.
Oh yeah, it's everybody.
I'm talking about both sides, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's everybody. You got the guy, like I said, I just talked about the guys. The guys don't want to be patient and build that value. So instead of them putting their nose to the grind and building their value, what they do, they want to go after fast money. They want to scam. They want to deal. Whatever it is they're doing today to get their fast money, that's what they want to do. Instead of just going to get a 9-to-5. Get a 9-to-5 or go to get an education. The young ladies, but they've been told to do that. The young ladies, they've been told hey, go get the bag. Don't worry about it. You strong and independent. Don't need no man. And that has come back to bite them as well, because now you got the ones now say, I ain't strong and independent no more. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not built to do what men do. And I always say that when women are used, their femininity is a superpower. That's their superpower. And
Yep.
when you don't use your superpower, whether it's the dating game, whether it's life or whatever, you're going to lose because you're operating as masculine and you're not a man. Same with
It's,
men.
it's,
It's the
it's out of
same way.
congruency. It's out of when you're out
Yeah.
of congruency. Let's even take man and women out of it just for 1 second. When you're out of your lane, when you're out of your purpose, when you're out of your design, it doesn't
Yeah.
function well. We can even take humans out of it and put it into tools. If you're trying to use a hammer as a screwdriver or vice versa, it may work to an
Yep.
extent, but it's not the intended purpose. So it's really not. It's not going to work out the way you want it to. And
Right.
I would say my suggestion to men is, especially guys that are maybe younger who are looking to date, is find out how to be a good platonic friend to a woman, because they'll inform your platonic female friends will inform you of what you need to do, either,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be directly or just through your observation of what you need to do when you're entering into the dating realm or desiring to be married. And so like we gotta, as men, we gotta place a much 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 higher value on platonic female friends and stop trying to smash them.
Well, one thing I can will say about the platonic female friends, ones that you know are going to be straight up with you and give it to you raw,
Right.
not
That's
sugar coated. Because what some platonic friends do, and even just women in your life in general, instead of them talking about what they like and what got them, they'll tell you about what they would like some guy to do, not what guys have actually done to get them, but what they would like guys to do. And that's where a lot of guys go wrong. So, oh, you should do this. You should buy flowers. You should buy this. Well, yeah, dad got you and he ain't buy no flowers or nothing like that. Dad just
I,
showed up and was like, you know.
well, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because I'll even say I can see better than I can hear. So I'm not talking about having these conversations with your platonic female friends.
Mhm.
Observe,
There you go. There you go. There you go.
observe.
That's
Because
it.
they can tell you whatever they
Observe.
want to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. Observe. Watch, dude. All you have to do, all you have to do, all you have to do, observe and let them talk. Let them talk. Let
They
them
love to
talk.
do
They're
it.
gonna give you the keys to the castle. They'll give you the keys to the castle all through you letting them talk, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I talked about it yesterday. I did a video about PJ Washington, the Hornets, Charlotte Hornets player. He just got praying mantis by Brittany Renner. She swooped in. He was 18. She was 26. Was going to his high school games. Went to his Kentucky games. Got with him. Got the baby. Less than a month later, boom, she's off to the next thing. He's posting on Twitter, posting on IG how he missed his son and he's sad. And she was at a concert, living it up, not worried about it, living her best life, man. And it's so many, especially young men, because older guys kind of know what the deal is and how to differentiate the different women. Like you said, on the Facebook post you had, like there's a difference between the top notch and the higher status women versus say the stragglers. So
And it's,
older men know the
and
difference.
just to preface that, the difference between top notch and what we'll call stragglers is their self perception. So it's the way that they show up. So we're not
Mm-hmm.
saying one person is better than the other, but behaviorally they have different value systems.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not a look. It's a
Right.
behavior.
That's why I
It's
want
a
to make sure
behavior.
people don't realize that, because
Mm-hmm.
the kind of the back and forth that I did see, it was about income. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's not really what we're talking about. That's what you're
No.
perceiving as top notch or high value, but that's just based on kind of like the constructs that we're determining value based on money. Just because we're in that type of society. But yeah, you're
Oh,
exactly right.
we're definitely in this society. And
Yep.
people, if you didn't see my video from Saturday, I did a video with my buddy Sean Taylor, love versus money. And we talked about it. Is it about love today or is it about money? It's about money for most of them today, man. I'm sorry
Absolutely.
to say, it's about money. One thing about being a man is you have the burden of performance, which means you can't rest on your laurels. You got to go out and get it. Nobody's giving you anything. You have to make yourself useful to the world and to the dating market in order to achieve and to win. You have that pressure on you, and it's not going anywhere. I like the pressure because the pressure is going to keep me on my toes and keep me achieving and going forward. Because if I don't, of course, later on I'm going to regret it. Like I
Life.
should have did this 10 years ago, but I'm glad I did it now. I'm glad I started this now. But if I'd have done this 10 years ago, there's no telling where I would be right now, you know? So that burden of performance has to stay with men and young, especially young men. They got to know, man, you have to put in the work. You got to put in the work, you know? And I hate to say this, but this guy watching Richard Cooper, he always says, women don't want to build. They want to sit at the finish line and pick the winners. Sounds harsh, but the truth is the truth. It is what it is. I got no problem with it.
Well, just to kind of add to that, you know, I think that women, some of them have their own visions that they want to build, and maybe that's due to where society has gone. So maybe on a core level, that's true. But currently, you know, women are building and doing their own thing. So with that in mind, one of the most common things I hear women say is that if a man has a vision, then that I can submit to, then I would submit. Because, you know, like in submission has become a dirty word, so I almost don't even want to use that. But
yeah, man,
you know, it's one of those things where let me put it differently then to take submit out of it. Women showing up with masculine energy because maybe men have failed in their masculine energy, which I believe is true. The men have become more feminine and women have become more masculine. You know what I mean? So, and within that, I think that what I've seen and what I've been hearing is that when a man shows up in his in an empowered masculine way with a vision, you know, we're not talking about dollars and cents anymore. We're talking about with vision, character, integrity, principles. Then they're able to rest back in to their feminine and be more feminine.
Yeah.
But you know, that's on the guy. That's on the men. You got to man up, buddy.
Yeah. It starts and ends with us. You know, I talked about it on my previous podcast where it's man protects the woman protects the children. That's how it's always been. I think that's how it always should be. This equalist society where we want to say we're equal to one another, everybody can do the same thing. No, we're different, and we're different for a reason. You know, there's masculine energy and feminine energy. It's two sides of the same coin. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. We serve different roles. We're both important. If we don't have each other, we cease to exist. So I don't get why people can't understand that. But to say that, you know, we're equal and you can do everything I can do and I can do everything you could do. No. That's once the lines got blurred, that's when we pretty much went downhill.
Right, definitely. Blurred lines. And you know, I think, you know, to an extent it's somewhat more of like a combination or a like find your symbiosis. So if you know, if we're gonna make it, you know, if we're gonna use percentages, let's say, you know, if I'm 70-30 and 70% red, 30% blue, you got to be 30%. You got to be the opposite of that. And so it's still there's still equality in it, you know, because you were saying the word equal. There's still equality in it, but there's different lanes within that. It doesn't really make sense for me to have a woman carry something that's very heavy, you know, physically, and that's not to say that she can't. It's just to say that it makes more sense for maybe me to do a heavy lifting physical task, whereas it might make more sense for her to do something like breastfeed because I can't even do that. You know what I mean? Or having certain types of conversations with a softer tone of voice. Our voices are even different. You know what I mean? So like one voice may be better to spook somebody, and another voice might be better to soothe somebody. Let's make it that makes it. I'm trying to make it to where nobody can get mad at the example, right?
Right.
So
but no.
Voice, you know what I'm saying? A deep voice, like when it comes to correction, you know, it'll get the kids to jump. You know what I mean? A soothing voice to get the kids to stop crying. You see what I'm saying? So
oh yeah. That's definitely what it is. I always talk about it. Say there's nothing better than a feminine woman. A feminine woman is a woman that you want to do any. Women. Yeah, a feminine woman is someone you want to do any and everything for. Feminine women had their husbands building driveways and back porches and adding on rooms to houses and dude, that's what feminine women were able to do. You know why Granny never had to work and Granddad was out there breaking his back every day? Because she probably was a feminine woman, you know? And he had no problem going out and achieving for his family. But today it's like, hey, you gonna take me as I am. I ain't got to do nothing. You gonna take me just like this. And
you know why they think that is? They think that is because they think that Granny didn't have any of the opportunities that women have today. And I think to an extent that may be true, but you know, it's blurred lines on that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because
Because
one of the
Madam
things I
C.J.
do
Walker did it in the
right
20s.
in the 20s. One of the things I really dislike when I hear, especially younger women, talk about the women of the past that paved the way for them. They talk down on them. That pisses me off because I'm like, yo, do you know that you probably couldn't walk a mile in her shoes? Like you're not strong like her. Just like my granddad. I can't do. I'm dude. The life my granddad lived and what he did for his family. You know, I can say that I might be. I can attempt to do it. I don't know if I'll be successful at that. You know, because
Right.
they're cut from a different cloth.
We
These
got to
are
respect
much.
our elders because they were
You have to
living in a
respect them.
different society. You know what I mean? You can't get the elders are supposed to pass on a blessing or pass on a legacy, and if you disrespecting the elders, you can't get some of that blessing because you're not respecting what they had to go through. And what I mean by blessing is not maybe like a literal thing, but like you can't glean from the value that they brought based on what they did because you're not respecting that. So, you know what I mean? Like if your grandfather, was, a hard worker and he was a blue collar worker or whatnot, and you looking down on that because you're a white collar worker. Now you can't even get kind of some of the gift of that blue collarness that he has. So like you kind of
Yeah,
limping through life without the blessing of your grandfather because you don't respect what he did or your grandmother because you don't respect what she did.
yeah. Yeah, one of the things that and I talked about my grandparents in past shows, and one of the things that they did for our entire family is that they put a work ethic in us that's like no other. Like from my parents to my mother to my uncles, aunties, cousins. You know, the work ethic is unmatched. Because you watch them do it every day. My grandmother was a hey mom. She had a ton of jobs, man. She worked TSA at the airport. She sat for older people. She was a baker. She was a cook. She was a missionary at the church. She went on mission trips. She visited the sick and shut in. She did like they had to raise $10,000 one time, dude. She was doing fish fries, cookies, candy apples, cake, all kind of stuff. My grandfather, he was a superintendent of sanitations for the city of Jacksonville for 30 years. You know, when he passed, and I seen all the people who came to his funeral and the people he impacted, dude. I was like, man, it's crazy. You know, they both of them left a legacy in the city. It's a lot of people who know who those two are. So automatically off top there, I'm like, yo, I got a lot to live up to. You know, I can't drag my feet. But what we do today is every granddad wasn't Mister and your grandma wasn't Sealy. Okay.
Right, right, right.
That's what they
They
think,
make
man.
all the granddaddies was cheating, yeah. Let me ask you this: do you think that the unity between black men and women was better in like the 60s and 70s? Because I was about to make that point with the movie Judas and the Black Messiah and how the Black Panthers were operating.
Yeah.
Do you think they were more unified then than now?
Oh yeah.
Black men and black
Yeah.
women? Yeah, I think so too. I
Yeah.
think so too.
I think well, I think I think the thing that came in and drove a wedge in between us, number one is I think subsidized housing and government assistance. Yeah, because what was the one of the requirements they had if they were going to give you a place to stay and a check? He can't be there. The man can't be in the house with you. So it's either you be with him under his rule, or I can go get my own, and he can't be there. And you have that, and then also, and I say it like this, but white women came in and brought feminism in, and what they did to make their movement stronger, they included minority women. Feminism is a fight that white women had with the white man because they felt like they were being treated like property. So
Right.
they want to fight for their rights.
Because
Got no
both black
problem
men
with
and
that.
women was being treated like property.
Right.
I got you.
So I'm like, what power? And now I ask black feminists this all the time. What power did the black man have over you at any time in this country? I don't know. I don't know. We haven't seen it. We haven't had any power, over black women. We've never had that. So what are you fighting for as a feminist? You fighting the patriarchy? The patriarchy isn't the black man, But that's where as Kevin Samuel says, the color purpling of America, with every granddad is Mister and every grandmother was Sealy. Yeah.
Right. So now it seems like instead of the government, the subsidized housing and the government, it's more so education that's being is the new battering ram. So black women are more highly educated. They're I don't know the exact statistics on the average pay in corporate America, but it seems as if, or at least in my network and in my containers, it seems as if maybe women have it more together financially. So maybe they have subsidy. And I don't know if that's across the nation or just in my circle. But
I've seen some statistics on this, and people Google is free, so you can go Google it yourself. People say, where are you getting your stick? Google. Yeah, you Google. Right. You got a phone in your hand, Google. So what it is, Trey, is that women, period, from 18 to 33 outpace the men in that same category. So they make more. Yep. Women get, I told you, women are born with their value, so they get it all up front. Opportunities, jobs, things like that. So like even with affirmative action. So I'm 32 now, so I'm going up for a job that's high paying. Say it's like almost 6 figures a year, and it's me versus a black woman, and both of us have the same equal qualifications. She's most likely going to get the job because what does she do? She hits 2 markers with them. She's black and she's a woman. So they've been given opportunities over black men. Now that's nothing to cry about. Don't get bitter. Get better. So go find and create your own opportunities. And there's no stats on this, but I heard a guy say it. Coach Greg Adams, I watch him all the time. He said, I bet you that majority of successful black men are entrepreneurs because opportunities weren't given to them. If it came to them and black women, it was given to black women, and they had to make their own lanes. Would you agree with that?
To a degree. I mean, I don't think I have enough. I don't think I have enough source.
I want more on that.
To agree or disagree, but it does make sense. What do you think? What do you think? Like the catch-all is? So how do we bring it all back together? Like what? And my thought process behind it is, well, let me make a statement real quick. I held at the Culture Lounge, which is a Thursday night happy hour from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. For those of you who don't know, and typically it's like a game night or karaoke or paint and sip, something fun. But I was planning to cancel the one for last week, and I saw a brother who was having a men's healing circle on a date, and his got canceled. And I was like, well, I was like, if he wants to have it at Culture Lounge, there's something that we could do on Culture Lounge. So we set up this men only Culture Lounge. It was a healing circle because it had to be, and the reason I had it to be men only is because so that men would be willing to express openly and honestly and transparently. Honest, open, transparent. That's where transformation comes from, right? So another area that women lead allegedly is in, I guess, healing or therapy or self-care, those type of topics.
Yeah.
And so in an attempt to create a space for men to catch up in that area, we had a men only meeting. And you wouldn't believe the type of sarcasm and the type of antagonism towards a men's only Culture Lounge that I received from the very women talking about the nature of dating in America today. And so
I'm not surprised.
You are. This is counterproductive to what you're saying. And what I'm trying to do is productive to what you're saying. And it was almost like I'm starting to sense almost like an air of superiority from women over men, and I do believe that was happening in the reverse, but now the reverse is happening. So like, where are we at now? How do we get it's wobbling back and forth? How do we get it the status quo as far as and I think black men versus black women is like the first frontier because there's so many other divisions in the black community: black Republicans versus black Democrats, Christians versus Pan-Africans versus the Nation of Islam. Vaxxers versus anti-vaxxers, I don't know.
Hey, ADOS versus
African descendants of slaves versus Caribbean people. Yeah,
Caribbeans. Yeah, that's big right now too.
Yeah.
It's so many. So, but I'm glad Trey Ford opened this door because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to knock it off the hinges. So, when it comes to the superiority complex that especially black women seem to have, and I have noticed that, Trey, and it's because of what I just said. They make more money than us from 18 to 33. So like, why these dudes ain't out here got their stuff together? They brokies, they dusties, they all of this, right? Thing is though, you make more money than us in that period. But right when you hit about 36, 37, 38, it flips. Men start to make more money. Like as a 40-year-old man, you're going to make more money in your lifetime than you ever have. Men get it on the back end because we have to build our value. We don't get it up front. And then number two, we're natural plow horses. So we work. Think about how many old men you know working tough jobs. We talking about 60-year-old, 70-year-old men. They still out there, they roofing,
asphalt,
carpentry,
laying
asphalt, bricklaying,
drinking OE after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women can't do that. Women can't do that. By the time a woman hits about 55, she's like, yo, it's time to pack it in. It's time to pack it in. The only thing they can really do is like maybe office jobs and things like that. But manual labor is not it for women. And it's just that we're built differently. Men and women are built differently. Doesn't make us better. We're just built differently. But because of that, now, so they got this attitude on the front end and saying, hey, y'all this and y'all that. Now, men, as they start to make your money and you start to realize your value, like around 30 is when I start to realize the value that I have as a man. And when I figured out that, okay, I got this burden of performance, but I understand where my value is. Now, the women who want to come to me now in my same age range, who maybe want to pair up, or want to talk or whatever, and this is happening across the community, the men my age, they're like, no, I can go down and get 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds if I want to. I don't have to pair up with you.
Or you can go.
I don't have to do it. Oh, you can go to the Cougar. Oh, hey, I can go older or I can go younger. Right. But around this time now, they're ready to pair up. And black men are like, no. Because what are they coming to you as? They coming to you with baggage. They're coming to you with trauma, kids, and all these things. And dudes are like, no.
And vice versa. And so, guys got the trauma, the kids too.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. But remember, majority of black men don't have children. 52% to be exact don't have kids. So, but that's
so you mean to tell me there are single guys out there with no kids? You hear this, ladies? They out there.
52%. Yeah, they're out there. They're out there because look, think about.
I got 2 kids.
Right. But think about it like this. So look at the numbers. So they say in the history of the world, only 40% of men have ever procreated, which had children, relative to 80% of women have had children. That's the nature. So, they got the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. 80% of women go after the top 20% of men. So look at the black community. It spells it out for you. So we marry at a rate of 26%. So those men are already paired up. There's 52% of us don't have children. That leaves a meager 22% that are fathering the 80% of kids that's out of wedlock in our community. 80-20 rule. Bam, there it is right there. So now the guys are like, okay, you wanted Pookie and Ray Ray. Okay, go back with Pookie and Ray Ray. Okay, go be with Pookie and Ray Ray. I ain't got no problem with it. You go be with them. I'm not putting up with it. I'm not taking care of them kids. I'm not doing those things. Right. And that's kind of what a disconnect is, because
what about single no kids men, single no kids women, because they seem to be having a problem too. In fact, I'm just in my observation, and I have my network is very small compared to the grand scheme of things. So I'm seeing people with kids from separate relationships come together, maybe at a higher clip than single man no kids, single woman no kids. And so it seems to be more so like the friction of the feminine versus the masculine that's the issue, more so than the actual kids or any of that.
So when it comes to that, especially, I know you got women without kids and men without kids, and they're struggling dating, things like that. One of the things that our biggest issues is, besides all of what I just talked about, is we have too many options today. Too many options. Because as soon as somebody don't get on your program or do what you want them to do, and you got an issue with them, you can easily swipe, and there's another person right there. And so because you can dismiss people that easily and that quickly, there's no loyalty today.
So single people have too much access to other single people. There's no courting.
Yeah, and married people have access to single people, and single people have access to married people. Oh yeah, and also people think, I know a lot of people think feminism freed women, it liberated women, right? Actually, it didn't free them. If you really think about it, it actually freed men, because women, if you really want to think about it, women didn't have to work like we work. So what they did was they said, okay, we're going to liberate you, we're going to give you your freedom, so you get out there in the workforce and you work. That's not freedom. Becoming a wage slave, and you know this, that's not freedom.
Right.
That's not freedom. You got that. You got to submit to. You ain't gonna submit to a man. You're gonna submit to a time clock. You gonna submit however you want to do it. So you're gonna achieve on your own, or you gonna submit to the government. That's it. Yeah. So submission is coming from somewhere. So it's just depending on who you want to submit to. So since that's happening, men don't have the responsibilities of our fathers anymore and our grandfathers. We don't have to get a family and provide for that family anymore. No, we can live our lives as bachelors and get on Tinder and Plenty of Fish and eHarmony and Bumble and Hinge and swipe to feed that carnal need that we have, and then going back to our purpose and our passion and our dreams, and not have to worry about any of that. You don't have to put up relationships, none of that stuff. And then also we've seen how I watched it. I watched men around me go through divorce and child court. Family court is not a place a man needs to be. That is not a place a man needs to be, man. Family court, it's always, women have purposes in the courts because women are the majority voters. So until the laws will never change, because women are the majority voters, they're always going to vote in their favor.
One law is maybe amended. I'm just gonna be hopeful, and that is the law around alimony. And the reason being is because now there are women making, millions and billions of dollars, and there probably was before, but making billions of dollars, getting a divorce, and then having to pay alimony to a man. And those women are upset about that. So I think that they're going to be the best. They're going to be the best lobbyists. The women who are going through what men have experienced in that regard are going to be the best lobbyists to balance that out. So I'm a button up the man and women thing with this. Men, if you can control that carnal desire, you're a focused man, and a focused man is a powerful man.
Yep,
that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that is, man. A man who doesn't have sexual discipline is a liability. He can't be on my team. He can't. I don't want a guy. If he's gonna throw me under the bus for a piece of tail, he can't be in the foxhole with me. I can't have him around me, because there's men out there that are like that.
They're among us.
They are among us, and there are many. There are many now. Oh, I hope so. I hope so, man. I hope so. But yeah, man, it's crazy. And I don't know if you remember, but Halle Berry went on a rant about child support, because she had to pay that model, like she had to pay him like 16 grand
Halle Berry
every
had to
month.
Pay child support?
16 grand a month.
Oh,
it just got reduced. Yeah, it just got reduced to 8 grand. They cut it in half for, but she went on a long rant about it on Twitter and IG about having to pay child support. And I say, women are feeling the effects of what men have had to go through for eons. Now, maybe we will see some change. Maybe, because like you say, like what's the name? Kelly Clarkson. She just had to pay 150 grand a month. There's temporary spouse support, but she also got to pay him child support as well. She makes like $1 million a month on her show. So she had to pay. Adele had to pay millions of dollars to her ex-husband. So it's coming. Hey. I remember. I'm dating myself, but I remember years ago, Yolanda Adams was married to a former Dallas Cowboys player, and they got divorced, and she had to pay him spousal support, and they made a huge stink about that years ago. So it's there. Those women that are making money, they're going to feel the effects of this for a long time to come, and hopefully we get some change on it. Because one thing about it, as a man, and I don't know about you, but I kind of feel this with a lot of men, is the thing about going through a divorce, it's not necessarily me having to part ways with money per se, because I'm a working man and I'm always going to work to get more money. My biggest issue when it comes to that is you limiting me access to my children. Right. If I could go from seeing my kids every day and them being in the house with me to me seeing them 50% of their lives, I have a huge problem with that. Huge problem.
That's real.
Yeah.
So before we button it up, actually, like what is our solution, or what is our next step? Black men, black women, we got to get back on the same page. Is it, I mean, men have to do we have to do some separate work. So I will say that men have
Yeah.
to do their
Gotta.
work with healing and trauma and things like that. We compartmentalize, and we got work to do, and then
Yeah.
women, seem to have started to do their thing as far, and maybe started before us as far as healing and trauma and doing that.
Yeah.
But what is the next step as a unified front to, I would like to be the first to, because it's not just happening with black men and black women, it's happening with all men and all women where there's this division. But specifically in our container, how can we be the first to like overcome that?
So I would say for men, and this for women too, because there's a saying. It says that majority of humanity's problem stems from man's inability to sit alone quietly in a room. That's where majority of our problems come from. And I can attest to this. Solitude makes you work things out. We have an issue, like think about it. A lot of black people got abandonment issues from whether it's mama or daddy, because we know about deadbeat dads, but we find it out it's a lot of deadbeat mamas out there too. And you got a lot of us have abandonment issues, so we can't be alone and be without somebody in our lives or in our face all the time. But you're gonna do the most inner work when you're alone because it's just you and you focus on yourself. So whatever inner demons, insecurities, self-esteem issues that you're fighting with, you got to face it head on, and you can't distract yourself with somebody in your face. I think that's where it needs to start. Get off the dating market. Stop. Drop all your hoes. Drop all of them, and focus on yourself. We don't do that enough. Black men and black women, we don't do it enough. Start to focus on yourself. Do that in the work. Go to therapy. Talk it out. Do whatever you got to do. But I think that's where it's got to start.
That's strong there. Hey man, we can button it up right there. So what else,
that's
man?
it, man?
What else? Yeah.
So let's get on this. Let's get on this 10 toes down.
Oh yeah. 10 toes down. Man, this is I actually talk a little bit about this stuff right here in my chapter of the book. My chapter of 10 Toes Down is really only about the first 2 months of the pandemic. So maybe from my chapter starts around February, March, and goes into about June, July. So that's more than 2 months. So the first few months of the pandemic. But anyway, 10 Toes Down, you've heard it before in songs and maybe in movies and stuff like that. It's applied a whole bunch of different ways, from relationships to gang activity, but integrity, gritty, being firm and solid, being a stand-up guy, are some of the things that you think about when being 10 toes down. And so it could apply to anybody's life. So we actually have it's a compilation book similar to Chicken Soup for the Soul. So each chapter is written by a different author, and they're accounting their interpretation of 10 toes down in a specific story of their life or in their life in general. So we started with one book, and there was a lot of feedback around the first book. So now we're basically going to do a 3-part series, and volume 2 just submitted their first draft for their chapters. Volume 2 has 13 authors, I believe, 12 or 13, depending on if we have to move somebody back to volume 3. But hopefully we don't have to do that. But volume 1 had 7 authors. And 10 Toes Down. It's like a book. It's like a record deal, but people don't read as much as they listen to music nowadays, so nobody cares. But I care because I'm getting paid.
That's it, man. That's it.
The book's on Amazon, but we would prefer that you get it from. Oh, let me show you the back. One thing that I am proud of is we're gonna do all these photo shoots with the authors at Black-owned businesses. So this is
one more time.
This is a little.
I made you a little wider. Show
you made
one more time.
Show it again.
Yeah. There you go.
So located. Gotcha. So we started this book inside of the. We started the book inside of the Cookbook restaurant, and we did our photo shoot in the Water Bar. Both Black-owned businesses. Cookbook is owned by Brandon Byers. Good name, Brandon.
Yeah. That's my dude.
Bar, that's it. The Water Bar is owned by Savita Jones, who also owns Alcavita Alkaline Water. So the next photo shoot, actually, I won't tell you. We'll keep some things for surprise. So volume 2 is slotted to come out in October. Volume 1 is we're rehashing our chapter. The cool thing about this book is that 6 of the people in volume 1 are brand newly published authors. I want to say like 10 or 11 of the people in volume 2 are newly published authors. So this is a new income stream for these people. They probably already had their own book idea that was maybe a full book or whatever, but now, they're in the trenches getting it done, and they'll be able to expand their chapter or take this experience and write a whole other book. And so that's kind of our hope behind it. Black literacy, more Black readers, more Black writers, and again, just enriching the community with overcoming testimonies. They leave some nuggets that I think that are relevant for today, because the range of authors is ranging anywhere from, I think our youngest author in the first one is around maybe 26ish, and the oldest might be in the 40s, and then in the pretty much the same. So it's relevant to people who watch your show, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, after volume 3 comes out in May. You should be in volume 3. Volume 3 comes out in February. So we have seven of the authors for volume 3 already.
Yeah.
Be around 10.
One of my mom's best friends, Dwight Follins. I don't know if you know Dwight Follins. Matter of fact, that's the older brother of Melinda Rackley.
Okay. Oh yeah, you know the publisher, Melinda Rackley. Shout out to Melinda, Rack House Publishing.
Yeah. Rack House Publishing. Yeah, her older
Black
brother.
woman-owned publishing company.
Black woman owned. He told me, he's like, you should reach out to Melinda. He said, sports. He said, think about getting a book going or something like that. And I thought about it, and you bringing it up again. I may think about it, because I have a lot of thoughts, man. If you look at my videos, this dude got a lot of thoughts. So I could put the pen to the paper
in your time, in your due time.
Yeah. I got to see where I'm gonna start and where I'm gonna go from. But you mentioned gang activity, and I have a theory about gangs, and especially Black young men and gangs. One of the theories that I have with gangs is the reason they gravitate towards gangs so much, besides maybe fathers not being in the home, it's wanting to be a part of something bigger than yourself. I liken it to football. Think about football. Yeah, you like the competition. Yeah, you like the grittiness and the toughness, and knocking somebody out and sending them home on the stretcher. Yeah, we like those things. Yeah, but being a part of something bigger than yourself, coming together with your brothers to achieve a goal, even though most of their activities are illegal and they do things that they shouldn't do, it still has that cohesiveness. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm talking about?
Right. No, I do. Yeah. I do. And most gangs are run like a business, so they're also learning something. And unfortunately, it's illegal and it's detrimental. The typically what they're pushing and stuff like that. But all it takes is a certain person with the right amount of influence, probably somewhere in the top of that to just convert the energy and convert the structure into something that can be positive and still make money. I think that's what we started to see. I don't know if Nipsey Hussle was necessarily inside of the direct gang activity. He may or may not have been. I haven't done my own research on it, but what I will say is he started to trend it away from maybe drugs and into music, apparel, things like that. And you see that over and over and over again where the conversion is made. And I think those conversions can continue to be made, but even better would be is if we can capture those young men and boys and stuff like that into something that is bigger than themselves before they get into the game, and create structures like that, whether it's like I think that we could come out with like a Black Scouting type of organization, where because the Boy Scouts of America, they got some odd stuff going on. You know what I mean? I was a Boy Scout, but and there was no problems like that in the troop that I was in. But there's room for some new types of organizations that have the structure that can capture these young men and young women. I mean, because women get involved in gang activity too nowadays. You know what I'm saying? And
yes,
I don't know
they
if that was
do.
the case back then, but yeah. So I think that I think you hit a good point there. And the challenge with it is a lot of people are really moving for themselves, not knowing that teamwork makes the dream work, and together everyone achieves more. I think that the individual is very important. You have to be able to deliver that from a place of abundance and not scarcity. So you can't have somebody who ain't got enough for themselves trying to deliver stuff to people. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't look out for yourself. You very much should. Yeah. But once you get to a point where you're at an energy rich or energy super rich place, now it's time to place that energy, because it's only the tide rises all ships, so it's only going to lift us all up. So if you're a man and that resonates with you, set it up and then reach out for help, man. We got you.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, one of the issues that I think plagues our community too, outside of dating and outside of just the dynamics between black men and black women, is that we don't trust each other as a whole. You
Right.
know, that crab in the bucket mentality is a real thing, and we don't trust each other as a whole. But you know, you could say we have trust issues, but you'll not trust me because I look like you, but then you'll trust someone of another race. You know,
Right.
and it's that's crazy to me. That's
Yep.
crazy to me.
Yep.
But I understand because if you are a black American specifically, you most likely probably grew up around black Americans, and the most bad that was done to you was by probably black Americans.
Right.
So I
Absolutely.
understand that mentality in some. So I'm not going to shame anybody
Some
if they
PTSD there.
yeah, I understand it completely, but you got to heal
Yep.
because yes, this guy's not for you, but the next guy can be a blessing to you.
That's
But
right.
because he looks the same as the last guy, you don't trust him, and
That's
you
right.
got to get past that, man. You got to get past it
That's right. That's right.
for
Well, listen,
sure.
man, I actually have to jump on to a Zoom call with one of the authors and Melinda. We're working on her draft. But
Okay,
man,
for
this is
sure.
good, man. We got to run this back. We got to run this back, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
interested
yeah.
to see how the comments come in. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it out to especially some women who have some strong opinions about some of the topics that we discussed. And I think the
Bring it on.
dialogue is good. The dialogue is good, and I think we can talk our way through and share our way through, and we can get on
Yeah.
the same page. It's doable.
Oh yeah, and shoot, once you share it, you get some comments, and especially ladies, because I haven't had any ladies on, so I'm going to start looking. I'm looking for very specific minded ladies. I'm not looking for kind of like the womanist ideals. No, I need you to be unbiased. I need you to call it like you see it. Call a spade a spade. So, but initially it might not matter because I'm ready to debate anybody, so it don't matter to me.
That's right. There it
So,
is.
but I will be looking for specific ones. But hey, you like what I said, you don't like what I said, let me know. I'm here. I'm ready to go. And hey, we make this a panel, man. I'm ready.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I think this is something that needs to continue to happen because I believe that the Jacksonville Renaissance will be centered around this subject, among others. But one of the centering topics in Jacksonville, I think that we can be the epicenter
Yeah.
of expansion and of unifying the Black community. So I'm excited to watch it progress.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All for it, man. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Oh, to let them all know about your social medias and where they can
Oh
find
yeah,
you.
Instagram. It's at Trey Solo 7. That's TREYSOLO 7, just like you see on the screen. Black Films Matter is another company of mine. At Black Films Matter. At Culture Lounge Jacks. But if you go to Trey Solo 7, you'll see pretty much all of the stuff that I got going on. And now I got 2 new pages: 10 Toes Down Book, 10 Toes Down Book, both on Facebook and on Instagram.
Okay, man. Hey, I appreciate you, my brother. And we are definitely going to run this back. Hey, leave your comments. You want to come on? You want to debate? You want to be a part of this? Let us know. And we will be back, man. But until next time, we'll talk to y'all later, man.
Yes,
Peace
sir.
out.